y'all thinking? We got to talk about Mamdani. You got Dave Smith out here still running his mouth about yours truly, B. Tatum, and you know I got to get him on this show. Brett Cooper, I love you. I hate that you came out and said what you said about Ted Cruz. I got to play a video to disprove what you're saying. We'll talk about that in a minute. AOC snitching on Marjorie Taylor Greene in that crazy plane crash. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go on today.
Welcome back. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to our new channel, The Officer Tatum Show. We finally got the URL and stuff fixed, but it's The Officer Tatum Show. You should be able to search it. Make sure you get the one with the check mark on it. If you don't have a check mark, it's not associated with me. So don't get caught up on somebody else's channel making up fake YouTube channels for B. Tatum. So go subscribe to me on that. Get you one of these shirts if you want. I want people to fight back against Mamdani in New York. I don't know what y'all were thinking, but we got to get into this. So let's keep it real for a second, because I feel like everybody is blaming everybody for everything that happened the other night. Republicans are not putting up good candidates. Can we just keep it 100? Now, I know people are saying, well, Republicans are spending all their time talking about Israel. That is true. We've been arguing about this stupid stuff that probably means nothing to our elections. However, I still don't think that is the reason why Republicans lost in such a way last night. Let's go to New York. Mamdani. Who ran against Mamdani? Who ran against Mamdani? Cuomo? Cuomo was the governor. He gets ousted. What he did during COVID, all the crazy stuff he said, he was under investigation of sexual misconduct with women. He literally had to step down. And y'all think he was going to be a good candidate to be the mayor of New York. And then the Republican, no offense to you, bruh, I ain't never heard of your day in my life. Had no swag, no nothing. I heard that man talk one time and I said, what the are you doing? Bro, you can't, what are y'all thinking? You gotta have some charisma if you're gonna be the mayor. And then they let a communist get in there and sweet talk them to death. And now y'all got somebody in there. Now, let me just say this. I can't say I love New York. I've been to New York a few times and I like the restaurants and it's a beautiful city, to be quite honest. But I don't vibe with New York. I hate the accent. Yeah, don't forget, get mad at me later. I'm not really a big fan of New York, but what I will say is that I hope that he does something right by New York. I don't think he will. Communist doesn't work. People are not going to invest in New York. I will never do business in New York, not one second of doing business in New York. We'll never do it. Let's get to some of the clips that we have of Mamdani when he first got elected, and this was his speech, and he challenged Donald Trump. And I hope that everybody who's Trump supporters, everybody who's conservatives, I want you to watch this, and if shame comes your way, accept it. Because we should have never let somebody like this run New York. We did not put up a single candidate that made sense. But roll the clip.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed. New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
I cannot wait for y'all to lose y'all's jobs and everything. I cannot wait. Not the conservative people, but these communists. Like I want everybody that work for me to understand this. They probably do. They'll hear this clip. I hope they cut it and put it in we're gonna put it in the briefing room downstairs. If you dare think you're gonna leverage me on some woke stuff, I will fire you. And don't let the door break on your back as you go out the door. If you somehow think you stupid enough to come into my business and say, I demand a wage that you do not qualify for. There's a such thing called entry level. And then as you go up in the ladder, you can make more money. But you're not finna do a shirt like this and think you're gonna get paid the same amount as the person running my YouTube channel. You're not finna come in here and sweep some floors here and there and think you're gonna make the same amount as the person who's running the entire distribution center. Don't be stupid. I started out making, I don't know, $7 an hour. I don't even know if I made $7 an hour. I think it was $6, $7 an hour working at Verizon Wireless premium retailer. It wasn't even a real Verizon Wireless store. Never made our bonus. We were living in a place with old people and they were trying to get us to sell them iPhones. And I refused to sell a person an iPhone that can't even read the iPhone. They sold one lady a whole digital landline. I would say a lady house and took all that stuff out of there. That lady was 80, 90 years old. She didn't know I don't know how to work this. And I said, man, give me all this stuff. I'm gonna get your money back. These people gonna go to hell for trying to sell you some crazy stuff like that with all that technology. And the lady is 90 years old. Regardless of that, I know what it's like to grind from the bottom. I know what it's like to start out somewhere. And if you work hard, you'll get your pay up. But you fools think you finna bully a multi-billion-dollar corporation into doing what? They will fire you and hire somebody that's willing to work. They don't care. Billionaires will never pay taxes like you claim you want them to. They won't change the tax code. Listen, you stuck in New York. Billionaires are not stuck. They would just move. Elon Musk, one of the biggest companies probably in the world, they moved from California to Austin. Do you not realize? Daily Wire moved from California to Tennessee. Joe Rogan moved his entire headquarters from California. I got a friend. He's not my friend, but he's a friend of a friend, billionaire. He moved his distribution center from California to Arizona. I'm talking 200,000 square feet of distribution. He moved it right to Arizona. These billionaires don't give a F. They just move their whole company. They got the money. They got the liquidity as a corporation. And they're gonna, if they sell this building here to somebody else that's dumb enough to stay in New York, they go buy some in Texas that's 10 times the size. Okay, all right. I'm just saying. Let's get some more clips because I gotta run quick on the show. Let's see. We got the immigrant quote. Let's go to Fox News 203.
You have said that you would arrest Netanyahu if he came to the United States. You've been very outspoken in your criticism of him. Do you stand by that? You would arrest him if he came here, if you were mayor?
I've said that this is a city that believes in international law, and this is a city that wants to uplift and uphold those beliefs. The Prime Minister...
The United States doesn't stand by the International Criminal Court.
It hasn't signed the treaty for the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court, however, has issued a warrant for the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Well, what grounds in the United States could you arrest him on?
As it has for Vladimir Putin. I've said that I believe that we should uphold arrest warrants by the International Criminal Court, and that you should do so only in abiding with all of the laws in front of us. I'm not going to make a new law to ensure that we can actually do that.
Do you think that Commissioner
Time out. Y'all so stupid. I realize that human beings are stupid. We're doomed. I hope I die before the country just go completely to trash. But it's going there because people are completely stupid. Can you how you not see through this guy? Just the fact that, I mean, even if you wanted Netanyahu to go to prison, that's fine. That's you can say whatever you want to say. The fact that this fool can't do it and telling you he can do it is crazy to me. They won't even abide by immigration laws. And they're going to go with international. Who's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu in New York? Who has the jurisdiction to arrest him? The city? Where's he going to go? Where's he going to be detained at? The jail? We're talking the international court. You're going to detain a dignitary, a prime minister, in a city jail. They don't have jurisdiction. When you go to the judge after you've taken this guy in and you take him up to the booking area, what charges do you have on him? You can't book him with no charges. Come on, next clip. Let's go, Mr. Code Switching, 204. Let's roll it.
I actually created a playlist for Mira, who also happens to be my mother. Nepotism and hard work goes a long way.
And in an interview with the Turkish-American podcast, Mamdani sounded different again.
I'll be honest with you, Brother Mansoum, is that at this point, not many people are thinking about it.
And here is Zoran during his rapper days.
You know, it would have been here earlier, but a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour. As in, you can't
Celebrity
just
things.
you can't just stop it.
Y'all voted for this. Y'all stupider than the mud, man. Y'all voted for this. Y'all see how he talking when he over here and then over here he talk a different way? Like what? It's an accident? Okay. We got more clips. Let's go to 205. Roll it.
Who are you voting for mayor?
I am voting Mamdani.
And why?
Because he's the most obvious choice.
What makes him an obvious choice for you?
It's just like, I'm trying to think. This reminds me of a certain comedy sketch where the comedian was like, we could either vote in one guy and he's going to give everybody free houses, free rent, and he's going to give everybody a Lamborghini, or we could vote in somebody who's going to burn down the city. That's why I'm voting Mamdani, because I'm voting for the guy who give me the Lamborghini.
Yeah, so you think Mamdani's like just going to give you guys everything?
Not everything. I'm saying it's the most obvious choice.
What do you think is going to happen with government-run grocery stores and free buses? Do you think that sounds like a good idea?
That does sound like a good idea.
And freezing the rent?
That does sound like a good idea.
What if they have to freeze the rent to the point where eventually the landlord's not able to come in and fix the washer and make profit on his own lease?
That's their problem.
God dang, boy. Y'all know that these people come out of college and they think like this. They don't understand capitalism. They don't understand free market. They don't understand what they call it, gross income versus net income. People got to turn a profit. And if they don't turn a profit, then they can't maintain what they have. People have debt on these properties. If they cannot pay their mortgage on a property, they're going to foreclose and they're going to shut the entire apartment complex down. And you're going to be without a house. And they still have their house. They're just going to quit the business side of it. They're going to sell off their properties. Okay. I can't wait for you guys to experience this. I cannot wait. 2 more clips. Let's make them quick with Mamdani. 206, 207. Anti-police rally from his, I don't know if she used to be a part of his press secretary, not press secretary, but she used to be a part of his admin or something like that. And this is what she's saying. And this is what they believe. Roll the clip.
Over 2,500 police officers resigned this year, a record number.
That's all you need to hear. Let's go to the next one. 207. Roll the clip.
I'm voting for Zoran.
What was it about him that got you to be like, okay, I'll vote for him?
You know, I think we need to try something new. He's young and fresh.
Can I ask you which one of his policies you agree with the most or that you like?
Let me think. I mean, the free buses, I think that's great. I also like that...
Well, you didn't vote on just because he's giving people free buses.
No.
Okay.
No. You're putting me on the spot. But yeah, I mean, he said he looks up to the mayor of Boston, and I think she does a great job.
Yeah. But as far as policies, it's just anything that comes to mind, or?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about him and part of the Democratic Socialists of America? Do you think that that's a hindrance to free Americans?
See, this is what I wasn't looking for. I have a big meeting coming up.
Yeah.
Fabian, how come when you ask people why are they voting for somebody, and they're like, wow, you put me on the spotlight. You're on the way to vote for the person, and you don't know why you're voting for him?
It's very easy to brainwash people, especially now in the social media age. So this is the same thing that happened when we talked to Kamala voters, the exact same thing. No one could ever say a policy. She said the free buses, and that's it.
We've seen enough. Y'all, we screwed, though. This is not a one-off. Like, this is most people. Even conservatives. I don't think it's most conservative, but a lot of conservatives, you brought them out there. Why you vote for Trump? You're like, maybe you should just do a little research. We got the internet. We got the internet. Just do this ChatGPT or something. Ask ChatGPT, why should I vote for? Here are my values. Who should I vote for and why? It'll, and then it will give you something to say. Something. I wish I was evil sometimes. I would make so much money off you ignorant folk. I would just make so much money. I'd be flying private. I'd have 4 or 5 cars. I mean, G-Wagons, and which one I like? I like that, what is that? Rolls Royce Cullinan. I've never driven a Lamborghini. I want to try that one. The Ferrari 888, okay, I've driven that one before. I cannot confirm it or deny if I have one, but I want the other ones. And I have all of it. Because y'all silly. All I have to do is push conspiracies. Should we change? Y'all, listen, Nick, get your priest on the phone. Tell him I'm going to swing through later, maybe next month, maybe quarterly. I'm going to swing through quarterly so he can, you don't want to be on camera? No, just messing with you. I'm going to swing through, listen, tell priest so-and-so, I'm going to swing through quarterly for him to forgive me every quarter while I just completely turn into a different person. That's all I got to do. Nick, you ain't on the camera. Just don't worry about it. I think Nick had a stroke right now. Let's talk about this plane crash because it was insane. Now, I fly multiple times a week. Lately, I've been flying multiple times a week. Normally, I fly several times a month. And I've had to trick myself, I don't know how many times, and telling myself all these things and studying aviation so that I can at least fly without feeling like I'm taking a chance on my life every time I'm in the plane, which in part you are, but it's safer to be in the plane than driving down the street. You're taking more chances driving down the street than you are in an airplane. However, unfortunately, there was a massive, crazy private aircraft crash. And when I say private, I mean private meaning the delivery service private company's airplane, which is one of these big jumbo jets that got all of your packages on it. This was one of the craziest crashes that I have seen. And when I say crazy, the amount of fuel, fire, and video footage of this was just absolutely insane. Unfortunately, I'll say this off the top, unfortunately, people did lose their lives. I'm sure both pilots are no longer with us. And I think a lot of people on the ground also lost their lives. It looked like there's 9 confirmed dead, 3 crew, 6 civilians, and 11 others on the ground who were severely injured. And this is the only people that have been recovered. According to officials, the press conference I just saw, they said that this number will climb. He expected to climb significantly because they're having to go through the damaged site and look this up. If you didn't know, this happened at the Louisville, Kentucky airport, and it was insane. Watch this video. Roll it.
Bro, get the away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy.
And that fireball is insane.
Holy shit. Dead. They are dead, bro.
And we're gonna finish this with a pilot's reaction, but I just want to show you guys the clips first. Let's go to 502. Just imagine seeing that. I mean, have you ever been, I want to just put this in perspective for you guys. Have you ever been to like Universal Studios or you watch a fireworks show and they're literally like several hundred feet away from you and you hear that and that flame and you can still kind of feel a little of that heat? when you're that close to that much fuel burning, I bet the person that if you were outside, you probably felt like you got burned in that fire. That's a big, crazy fireball. Let's just run the clips in succession, and then we'll go to the news, and then we'll go 506 and then back to 505. Roll it.
Corre para atrás, papi, viste, te lo estoy diciendo, Dios mío.
Ay, pinga.
Ay, Dios mío.
Pero qué pinga es. Vamos a ver.
Papi, cuidado.
Espérate.
Ay, Dios mío, señor.
Pinga, pinga, Cere. Cojones.
Mira la cantidad de gente cogiendo candela.
That's got to be crazy to witness that. Let's go to 505. And this is a pilot. I follow this guy. I forget his name now, but maybe we'll put his link somewhere. But I follow this guy. I love his content. He's one of the reasons why I am very comfortable flying on the airplane. I learn a lot from him and others who tell you how these things happen and what could have gone wrong and how the majority of your flights this will never happen to you. I mean, there's like 14,000 airplanes in the air at any given time and for 24 hours a day almost. So it is very rare for something like this to happen, to be quite honest. But roll the clip.
On the 4th of November 2025, tragedy struck as UPS Flight 2976 was departing from Louisville, Kentucky in the United States. The 34-year-old MD-11 was heading for Honolulu, and according to the airline, there were 3 UPS crew members on board. The aircraft lined up on runway 17 right at approximately 22:12 UTC or 17:12 local time and then started accelerating. And at this time, it's obviously too early for us to know exactly what happened next. Several videos show the aircraft trying to rotate with flames and smoke billowing out from its left-hand wing. And data from flight tracking websites like Flightradar24 show that the aircraft accelerated to a ground speed of 186 knots over the runway, which seems to be the highest speed it ever reached. The aircraft then just got airborne into the ground effect, but it never gained much altitude before leaving the airport perimeter. And almost immediately after, its landing gear seems to have impacted the roof of a UPS warehouse beyond the runway. It then continued over another few industrial buildings and parking lots before finally rolling over to the left and crashing into a huge fireball, likely caused by its high fuel load. All 3 people on board perished in the accident, and there are also reports of 4 more fatalities on the ground, with at least 11 people being injured. But these figures could still rise. Some images released online seems to show parts of the left number 1 engine inlet and core lying on the grass near the runway within the airport perimeter. But I should stress that at this point, we can't be 100% sure that all of these pictures are actually from the Louisville crash. But of course, for many, those pictures and the videos of the aircraft rolling over to the left before crashing obviously look similar to the tragic crash of American Airlines Flight 191. Now that was a McDonnell Douglas DC-10, the precursor of the MD-11, which lost an engine during the takeoff roll. But I should stress here that there were many lessons learned from that crash, and key systems in the DC-10 were modified to avoid something similar ever happening again. And those modifications were then obviously carried over to the MD-11. So this is likely something different. But having said that, according to the Aviation Herald, this flight was delayed because of some work needed to be carried out on its left number 1 engine before departure. That's the same engine that appears to have separated from the aircraft, and we will likely learn more about that in the coming months. Now, our thoughts goes to the families of the victims and those who are injured at this time, and as always, I advise everyone to await answers from official sources, because anyone else who say that they know what happened at this stage just doesn't.
So I guess this gentleman's name is Petter. I want to say Peter, but it's P-E-T-T-E-R is how you spell it. Maybe because he's from a foreign country, and y'all know I can't read that good. But I'm sure you can find him. I love the guy. He's always give really, really good explanations. Let's get to a couple more clips because I I gotta get to some of this stuff before we have to go. I wanna talk about Brett Cooper real quick. Brett Cooper, I like Brett Cooper. I met Brett Cooper. My wife loves Brett Cooper. I don't have a problem with Brett Cooper. I don't think Brett Cooper has said anything that she said in the video that's going viral about her in poor faith. I just really don't. I just unfortunately believe that Brett Cooper is young and impressionable enough and probably didn't have all the information when she made the video. I'll give her that. She came out, and let's play the video of her talking about Ted Cruz. She came out and said this about Ted Cruz. And I understand where she's coming from. The only problem with this is that she must not know who Nick Fuentes actually is. If you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, what she said makes perfect sense. But wait till I show you Nick Fuentes in his own words, pretty much disagreeing with Brett Cooper. Wrote a clip.
You are so blinded by your ridiculous, insane hatred of Tucker Carlson that you cannot see how irresponsible and hypocritical you are being. I mean, these tweets from Ted Cruz, I'm going to read you next, are a great example of this. So just a month ago, he tweeted this. He said, "They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Political violence is a left-wing phenomenon. Enough is enough. We need to shut it down." And then in response to Fuentes and Tucker this week, he tweeted this. "Trump's bombing of the Ayatollah's nuclear facilities made the little Nazi mad. Good." So now you're turning around and you're calling somebody that you don't like a Nazi. You're doing this out of blind rage because you're so angry that the conservative base's attitudes are rapidly changing, that Nick Fuentes is getting national attention, and so you have turned around and in response, you are compromising your own values in anger, which is such a dangerous precedent to set. And unfortunately for you guys, yes, the attitudes are changing. So again, it makes sense why this group is incredibly frantic.
Now, I messaged Brett Cooper on X. Now, I don't know if she see it all. We follow each other. And I didn't do it publicly because I really have no intention to make her look bad. It's just that when things are on the internet, I need to address them. Now, I sent her the video that I'm about to show you, and I told her this is why people are mad at Nick Fuentes. And I think, with all honesty, I think if she actually saw this stuff, I don't think she would have made the video about Ted Cruz. Maybe the other gentleman that she made a video about, Randy Fine, maybe she would have made that video, and I'll show you that later. But she wouldn't have said this if she saw this. I can almost guarantee. Now, let me defend Ted Cruz real quick for give me 10 seconds. He is 100% right that they'll call you a Nazi so they can kill you, and you're not a Nazi and they know it. But the difference is this guy said he was a Nazi. So Ted Cruz isn't doing anything other than what Nick Fuentes said himself. Roll the clip.
One, look, I'm not obsessed with Hitler. I really don't even know that much about him.
Buddy, it's Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, Nick. Heil Hitler, all my Nazis, Nick.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really cool. So, you know, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go.
Hold on a second. I'm just playing a lead up. He's going to say he's a Nazi here in a second. It's crazy, but I'm just leading up a little bit, and we'll skip a little bit to get to the Nazi part. But let's just keep playing it here.
He was also really cool. And any boy knows that. Anybody that watches these videos where he's rolling down the street and stuff, it's like, this guy's awesome. This guy's cool.
It's like all these normies that are like, oh, you like Kanye? I like Gold Digger. I like Runaway. And it's like, oh yeah, my favorite song is Heil Hitler by Kanye West, by Ye. Thoughts? Off of the album Cut. My favorite song is Gas Chambers. My favorite song is, it's a tough call. It's my favorite Kanye West song. It's either got to be Gas Chambers or Heil Hitler. Polish people have this bad habit of like hating Hitler, and we're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time, okay? I like empires. I f with Rome. I f with Nazi Germany. I f with Napoleon and Charlemagne and all of it. I'm not one of these nationalists for all nations, but they partitioned Poland. Yeah, and what about it, okay? I mean, really?
We're still talking about Hitler 80 years later. That's the difference. Hitler cast a shadow over the entire world in 2024, and he died in 1945. See, that's who we are.
All right, I don't know what more evidence you need. I think that was pretty clear. And I feel bad for Brett Cooper because I don't think anybody wanted to tell her the truth, and nobody's going to tell her the truth, and everybody's going to capitulate to the things that she had said about Ted Cruz. I won't defend Ted Cruz if Ted Cruz is wrong. But Ted Cruz said he was a Nazi. You just saw 8 minutes of him sympathizing with Nazis, sympathizing with Hitler, being anti-Semitic clearly, and then saying he messed with Nazis. He support them. He's in lockstep with them. You can even say that he's Nazi adjacent at this point, because you can't live out the Nazi theology in America today, but you can be a Nazi sympathizer. And this is what Ted Cruz is talking about. Why don't y'all see who this boy is? And it seems like loyalty, I'll say this, the loyalty, y'all, to friends sometimes distort people's viewpoint. And some people, like, you could be loyal to a friend, but you still got to call it out when you see it. You don't got to go blast them and put their name out there, but you got to call it out as you see it. But some people that got friends, they won't call it out. They begin to say, I'm just going to believe what this person say because I like them. And Brett, I hope that you see this, and I'm not trying to be mean to you or anything, but could you please go back and look at that film, because I believe your reputation and what you've built is better than trying to defend that guy that I just showed. You may not like Ted Cruz, fine, but Ted Cruz is not wrong about Nick Fuentes. If Ted Cruz called Candace a Nazi and some of these other people Nazi, I can see you defending that. But you can't defend this guy. I got to talk about Dave Smith and also my speech at the Republican Jewish Coalition event, which was an incredible event. A lot of great people were there. I missed a lot of people the day before because I came in on a Saturday and I spoke. But Dave Smith is a nut. And he would love to be, he mad at me still because I whooped him in that debate on Piers Morgan. And so he's still mad, he's butthurt. That fool said, I'm not going to say it for him. I'm going to let you listen to what he said to Tucker Carlson and look at that. Don't say it, Brandon. Just look at Tucker Carlson's face, which is one reason why I don't like him. These dudes are wussies. They're wussies, dude. They don't stand for nothing. Fickle. And every time they say something, they go, what about the children? It's like, how do you not realize that it's propaganda when every time you mention something, you try to pull on people's heartstrings by saying children? Listen to this fool, and then I'm going to play what I said at the RJC so you guys can put it in context and you realize why these people are so fake. Roll the clip.
As I'm saying, in just Genocide Fest 2025 here, that they had the other day, I mean, the whole thing was genocidal in tone. There was, what's that guy?
You know who I am.
Brandon Tatum, who I debated once on Piers Morgan, who, like, look, I don't hate him, but he might be the dumbest person who's ever talked about politics in the history of the world. And he's up there and he's saying, turn Gaza into a parking lot. True, if I was prime minister, I'd have done it in 48 hours. Like, I'm sorry, people aren't allowed to leave Gaza. If you're saying turn it into a parking lot, you're advocating murdering 1 million children. Like, what? You just casually drop. Then Lindsey Graham is bragging that Trump ran out of bombs.
He said that to me. That's what he said. This is what he allegedly got out of my speech. Let's go to the clip where I'm bringing up the issue of turning into a parking lot situation. It's 8:04. Let's listen to what I said. And you tell me, was this a genocidal speech and I just want everybody to die? Listen to it. Roll the clip. We went all the way up from Tiberias all the way down to the Dead Sea. I mean, it blew my mind. And that's not even adding into the connection with all of the things that the Bible had prophesied about that you could see in the flesh right there in Israel. And we were on the Sea of Galilee, the Mount of Beatitudes, all the Christian sites, because as a Christian, that means so much to me. And when I left, I remember thinking, man, I love this place. I love the energy in this place. I see why in America we partner with a democracy like Israel. And it changed me. And therefore, after that, I'm like, man, I'm the biggest fan of Israel. And then October the 7th happened. And I was so upset because good, innocent people were killed. I've interviewed since people who were hostage or who were held hostage for 490 days. People in the IDF. And I don't want to relive this for you, but it was a moment that made me so upset and angry because I can see a very similar, I have a very similar feeling that if that happened to America, how would I feel? And the first thing that came out of my mouth, and y'all keep praying for me, I said, I want them to turn that place into a parking lot. I gotta preface it, because somebody gonna clip this and put it on the internet. Not because of the Palestinian people per se, individual people, but because if you dare to do such an atrocity to people that I love, people that I respect, people that are chosen by God, you decide to do something like that, you should never have an opportunity to do it again. And it should be an example to everybody in the world that if you ever think about trying something like this, your country will cease to exist. Boy, if I was the prime minister, ooh, it's 48 hours. Give me 48 hours. Now, let's put this in perspective, because these people are so stupid to me. Of course, he'll love to bring up babies, but the principle still remains. If someone were to come into America and the equivalent would be taking the lives of 40,000 people and kidnapping another 20,000 people or so, if that happened in America, what would our response be? It's not that our response is to go after children. It's not our response to be genocidal. Our response is to respond to what they did. Because you cannot be passive when it comes to someone committing a terrorist attack in your country. Literally after 9/11 went to war for 20 years. 20. Israel's been 2 years doing this. 20 years. And they didn't even have hostages. We went over there and occupied for 20 years. Hundreds of thousands of people died as a result of what they did on September the 11th. And all I'm saying is that we have to do something to create a situation where this can never happen again. What's wrong with that? People like Dave Smith want it to keep happening. He don't care. They don't have a solution. Okay, what should Israel do? I asked him in the debate, well, what should Israel do? Oh, well, they shouldn't do that. Well, okay. How they get the hostages back? Doing what? They just let their hostages die out there? And he's just like, oh, well, we forgot about it. Hey. And what do you think Hamas's response will be? To do it again. To keep doing it again. They promised they would do it again. All right, let's play a couple other clips from the RJC because I like to put all this stuff in context. Here's a funny one for you, 801. Now, some of you guys may be on social media like I am, and you can see the lunatics. They're still saying I'm getting paid $7,000 per post. So if anybody in here know the hookup, can you hook a brother up and get me $7,000 per post, please? Get with Dylan Marks in the back. He will lead you where you need to be. But I'm excited because I think it's a calling on all of us to stand up with the relationship that we have with the state of Israel and our Jewish brothers and sisters. I am the most excitable person when it comes to this topic. And I will stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters to the very end. For all you sane people out there, I know it feels good to hear somebody actually tell the truth. Let's get to the next one, 802.
I will never capitulate. I will never give credence to foolish people who are anti-Semitic, who are racist, people who hate America. I will never support them. I don't care how long you've been podcasting. I don't care how many follows you got. I don't care how much money you got. When you platform somebody, bring somebody on your show and let them just dog out Jewish people, let them just dog out and say they support Stalin, I would never support you. I'm trying not to get crazy in here, but we got to stop being soft on this topic. We got to stop being soft on the topic. Let me tell you what cancellation is not. No one cares if you on your own social media platform and you spew whatever you want to say, whether it's stupid or not. We live in America and people have the right to free speech, but we don't have to platform you. We don't have to let you come on our programs and say stupidity and spew stupid stuff.
All right. I wish I didn't say it like that. I double spoke the stupidity part, but when you speak off the cuff, sometimes it happens. All right, 804. No, is that 803? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And when I watch Donald Trump and I see him with Bibi Netanyahu, I see people that operate in reality. The reality is that Israel is one of our greatest allies. And for people to think otherwise, you fall in one or two categories. You're either ignorant or you simply hate Jews. Quit lying to yourself. Quit trying to cover. You just hate Jews. Just say it. I don't want to hear I'm just asking questions no more. You're not just asking questions. Asking questions means you do your research first before you put something out into the atmosphere. It's not asking questions to make accusations. If you somehow think the Jews run the world, you are a fool. If you somehow think that Bibi Netanyahu runs Donald Trump, you are a fool. Donald Trump don't even run Donald Trump. That inner voice in his head that's saying, don't tweet that, don't do that. He like, whatever. I love you, Trump, if you're watching this. I'm just making a joke.
So, I think you've seen a few items of interest that you should digest. When I said, and people tried to make videos about me saying, if you don't know if Israel is one of our greatest allies, you're either ignorant or you hate Jews. And they take out the first part where I said Donald Trump being with Benjamin Netanyahu, clearly Donald Trump and our government respects Benjamin Netanyahu and believe that we're great allies. They not only say it, we use it with our funding to Israel. And if you have any common sense, you'll understand why we support Israel the way we do. And so a person who will reject that is what? You're either ignorant to the fact that as a country, for decades now, Israel has been one of our greatest allies through word and deed, and through our funding and the relationship that our president has with the prime minister. Some people are ignorant to that fact. Others, they just hate Jews, so they don't accept anything the Jewish people have to say. And asking questions. Somebody made a video and was like, because Charlie Kirk was asking questions. Clearly, they didn't play my whole clip or watch my clip. Nobody's saying that a person is asking legitimate questions, which means that you're doing legitimate research. Nobody's questioning that. Jewish people do it more than anybody else, questioning their own government. Half of them don't even like Benjamin Netanyahu, just like half people in America don't like Trump. So these people criticize their own government, and you can criticize the government. But the people that say, I'm just asking questions, why is every Jew on everything in America? I'm just asking questions. Why does the Jews run America? I'm just asking. That's not a question. You are making an anti-Semitic statement. You're not asking questions. Quit covering. It's funny because they start out by saying, and this is why, and me and my wife talked about this, Megyn Kelly and them getting backlash. And I understand the frustration with that backlash. I haven't gotten backlash like that. But one thing that I think Megyn Kelly and others don't understand is because the reason why I think Jewish people are hypersensitive, because this is where everybody go to die off of a cliff, is they go, I'm just asking questions. Oh yeah, this how they all start. I'm just asking questions. Was the Holocaust really real? Is that a real question? Go do your research first. And then if you're going to blast that theology, you need to come with some evidence. But when you do your research, you would never make an ignorant statement like that online ever. But when you don't do your research, you're just asking questions. That's like somebody saying, that's like your wife talking to you and she go, where were you at last night? Is she really just wondering where I'm at last night, or she's doing that with an accusatory tone? Like, right, if your girl catch you cheating, which let me not say that. I got caught trying to cheat when I was in college. I got caught trying to cheat. I couldn't follow through with the process, but I did get caught kind of trying to cheat with this one girl. But anyway, so you get caught trying to cheat, and the woman say, "Who is Cindy?" She not asking you who Cindy is because she questioning because she want to know. She asking you because she wants you to know she already know. So quit playing games. Woman should tell you, I know you're cheating. I caught you with Cindy. I'm out of here. Do that same thing with your Israel energy. You know you deny the Holocaust. You think the Holocaust didn't happen. You think 6 million Jews didn't die in the Holocaust. You think Hitler is a good person. So quit acting like, but was Hitler really? But did Hitler really do this? But did 6 million Jews really die? Well, does 5.5 million change your mind? Does 3 million change your mind? Well, I was just wondering, why the Jews, run our bank system. Jews telling Trump what to do. What? Miriam Adelson gave him $120 million. Elon Musk gave him $250 million. He gave Trump almost twice what she gave. And nobody's saying nothing weird about Elon Musk. He ran Doge. What did Mary Adelson have? What did she run? Nothing. Elon ran Doge. It's the whole thing where they go, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Why can't you criticize Israel? This one thing I didn't like that Charlie said. I understand him because he was 31-year-old under a lot of pressure. Why do you question? You don't get backlash for questioning. You don't get backlash for criticizing Israel. The question is, what are you actually criticizing? And this is one thing I disagree with Charlie on. When you say they're trying to ethnically cleanse Gaza, that's not a criticism. That's complete foolery. I'm just saying. What evidence do you have that they're ethnically cleansing? They're ethnically cleansing. They're dropping leaflets. They're strategically striking. There's like 1 million people. How many million people live in Gaza? I think it's 2 million people live in Gaza. And the reports from Gaza is that they killed 60,000 people. That's like 3% of the population. They're trying to ethnically cleanse by killing 3% of the population. That to me is this is what happened, I think, with Charlie just a little bit. He can't defend himself, but this is what I had to happen. Charlie became frustrated with the pressure that he was getting, like I'm getting. And when you're young and you're 30 years old and your entire career has been where everybody loved you, and now you got these little weirdo kids out here challenging you for the first time and really putting a lot of pressure on you, and you feel like I feel, it's like, dude, I'm doing all of this and I'm losing support from people that supported me, which I'm really not losing it. It just feels like you lose support. And so now you begin to find yourself, if you don't have a deep enough conviction, trying to capitulate, trying to meet in the middle. So I felt like Charlie had a lot of pressure on him to try to meet in the middle between Zionism and anti-Semitism. Because if he didn't do some compromising, he felt, and I understand the feeling, is that everybody will abandon you at some point. You see the tide turning and you feel like, oh, shoot, I better correct this. Now I'm grown. I'm almost 40 and I got kids and everything else. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of life experience. So I don't feel like the pressure bothers me like it did Charlie. And also I don't run an organization where my whole livelihood is based on this nonprofit organization I run. And I think that Charlie was finding ways to try to find a common ground. So he went on a limb to say, why did it take so many hours to do the thing, which is a legitimate question. But why is he going down that path without verifying and doing a little bit more research first? And I think it's because of that pressure. I'm not saying he was wrong for it, because I had the same question and I asked Netanyahu the question, and I also asked, I don't think I asked Netanyahu. I didn't get to ask him that question, but I did ask the IDF soldier who was actually there fighting. And then he went on to say he was frustrated that he can't criticize Israel. And let me tell you what happened. Him being a Zionist just like I am, and then when he started slipping towards the middle and compromising certain things to try to meet the other side in the middle, Jewish people overreacted. Because now they're like, we're going to lose Charlie. He's going down that path. And I feel like their overreaction bothered him, rightfully so. And then that's when you start hearing Charlie say some of the things that he said. And I understand the frustration. But at the end of the day, you got to stand on principle. And unless I have unequivocal evidence to lead me to a path of saying I'm not supporting Israel no more somehow, or whatever that means, like I'm not supporting, like, here's the thing. I don't never say I can 100% support any government. You know, Israel they just as woke as we are. They got trans and gay prides and all this stuff. I don't agree with none of that. And I don't agree with it here in our country. However, there is a difference between saying, I don't agree with everything the government is doing. I don't know if I agree with everything the IDF is doing. If they're cutting up, and I don't agree with it. But what I do not change is the everlasting covenant that God had already made with Abraham. I don't challenge that. He said an everlasting covenant and an everlasting possession of the land. Everlasting. He didn't say conditional covenant and a condition. He said everlasting. And so I support that. I support what God said. And then I ain't got to like it. I don't got to understand it. All I know is that the line of Jacob was promised that God would be their God forever. Everlasting covenant. What does everlasting mean? Use your context clues and definitions. I will give you an everlasting covenant with an everlasting possession of the land. The gifts and callings of God are irrevocable. That is Zionist support of Israel. I'm watching the prophecy happen. God said he's going to bring them all back into the land, never to be uprooted again. That's biblical prophecy. And now we see in 1940 something, I think 42, 45, 48, maybe it was 46 and then they fought in 48. God brought them back to the land like it was prophesied. And do you foresee them ever being uprooted again? Do you foresee it? Have you ever thought to yourself, and I'm going to be done with this. I'll do AOC them tomorrow. Have you ever thought to yourself that all of the tribes who fought against the Jewish people and against Israel, which is God's chosen people, which is the people, which was what Jacob's name turned into Israel, which is the lineage that God made a promise to Israel, the people. Everybody that fought against them don't exist anymore. Have you ever noticed that? The Romans are not around anymore. Well, you know, the power of the Romans are not around anymore. The Ottoman Empire. I mean, you name them. All these empires. The Nazi Germany. Where they at? Oh, they're gone. You know, you look at the position that they're in right now. Think about this. The country that supports Israel the most is who? America. What is the most blessed country in the world? America. Don't you find that to be interesting? All of the allies of Israel are countries that are flourishing and doing well. And when I say doing well, they're not only doing well financially, they're morally doing well. You know, Qatar is not an enemy. Qatar does not openly claim to be an enemy of Israel. They don't. Then they do their little secret stuff behind the scenes, funding Hamas, but they also have made peace with Israel. All of the Arab nations that are doing extremely well, they have peace with Israel. Okay, maybe people say Iran, but they may not last that long if they keep messing around and finding out. I'm just throwing it out there. God ain't playing with y'all. You keep up doing what you're doing, everything that you do will crumble. I'm telling you. You just watch. And I believe that with my whole heart. All right, I love you guys. I'll talk about AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene tomorrow. I love you. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.